On this episode, we're going to review the latest on the New Japan Summer Struggle with a lot of matches that we could leading up to the upcoming pay-per-view later on, Wrestle Grand Slam in MetLife Dome. But also we got AEW Dynamite. We're getting closer and closer with All Out. As you know, all matches are set. But also going to review two past events by two different Japanese promotions, one by Ice Ribbon, the other by DDT Pro Wrestling. So, let's get ready to watch another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So let's begin with the latest Summer Struggle events by New Japan. It opened up once again with the previous Young Lions. We're talking about Fujita and Oawa, whatever his name is. Can't pronounce it right. But it was a pretty good match, but however, it ended in a time limit draw. Now, to me, I don't want this to go any further with time limit draws with the Young Lions because we really want to see who can progress. You know, but that's how the Young Lion life is. But we'll see what happens. Go. The next match we got the Bullet Club's cutest tag team, El Phantasmo and Taiji Shimuri, taking on Suzuki-gun members Doiki and Minoru Suzuki. Now, I want to confess to all of you watching this match, I had a feeling in this match that Taiji Shimuri and El Phantasmo would be afraid of Minoru Suzuki. Now, they are the tough guys, but when it comes to Minoru Suzuki, he's the one guy you don't want to piss off. So you should be scared of him, especially if you don't hit him hard enough. However, losing wasn't the thing that bothered Minoru Suzuki, is the way he lost. Basically, trying to think they can outsmart him. And of course, Taiji Shimuri was the one who picked up the victory for his team when he pinned Doiki. But Minoru Suzuki chased both of them down. Even Phantasmo tried to taunt him, but if I were you, El Phantasmo, he has no interest in your titles, but just torture you. That's how I see Minoru Suzuki. He thinks he's the kind of guy who will not tolerate guys like him. But trust me, he'll catch up to him. Alright, next match we have Togi Makabe once again teaming up with Toru Yano, taking on the other members of Bullet Club, Yano and Chase Owens. As you know, the rivalry between Yano and Chase began to escalate. The match ended in a disqualification, all thanks to Chase Owens trying to kick them in the groin, but however, he decided to punish him even further and tell him that the KOPW provisional trophy belongs to him. He will not lose it to him. That's the whole point. So if I know Yano, he'll figure something out. He always has tricks up his sleeves, no matter what Chase Owens thinks he knows about him. But we'll see when we get there when that match is set. Next match we have the United Empire conning Cobb taking on Hamna and Okada. Now, this rivalry between Cobb and Okada has been booming for a while, ever since then. As you know, I don't know if Jeff Cobb is doing this on behalf of Will Ospreay. Okada has been the one guy that Will Ospreay hasn't been able to beat recently. We know that he faced him in Wrestle Kingdom, but he lost to him, and I don't know if Cobb is trying to finish him off, but we'll see what happens. But however, United Empire continues to be a dominant force to be reckoned with and not to be ignored. But it was United Empire that won the match. And then finally, we have an 8-man tag team elimination match between one team, Tiger Mask teaming with Chaos members Robbie Eagles, Yoshihashi, and Hiroki Goto taking on all form and Suzuki-gun, Kanemaru, Despi, Taichi, and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, I like the idea how they eliminated the junior heavyweight contenders first to focus more on the heavyweight contenders involved for the IWGP United States, tag team titles. That's what they focus more. And I feel this one is telling the story that could dangerous techers be losing their titles soon? Could they be in fear of losing the titles to Yoshihashi and Goto? Well, we'll find out when that day comes. And of course, it was Goto who picked up the victory to win the elimination match for his team. And of course, Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi should be worried if they decide if these titles were lost by from their hands. But we'll see when we get there on MetLife at the Dome. Okay, AEW Dynamite was in Milwaukee. What a great show! Um, Opened up great with Orange Cassidy versus Matt Hardy. It was a rivalry between them. It was one good match I enjoyed, especially. I don't know if this whole thing with Matt Hardy bleeding out was part of the plan or was it accidental. We don't know, but it did show a lot of character. How Orange Cassidy, no matter what Hardy tries to pull on him, Cassidy will try to counter it no matter what. Excuse me, a little bit sleepy, but it was a good match and I enjoyed it. Orange Cassidy won when he put him down when he had his hands in his pocket to keep him down completely. I think that was the last thing that Matt Hardy would think. I don't know if this is going to be over between Cassidy, Orange, and of course Hardy. Now, as you know, Brock Anderson, the son of Four Horsemen legend Arn Anderson, made it a challenge against Malachi Black after what happened to his dad and to Cody. Arn doesn't like the idea, but Malachi gave him a thought that he should do the right thing and just drop the match or drop everything. Basically, he's giving him the sense to wake up. Is this is what you want? And I think it tells a good psychological thing about Malachi questioning, are you really that dumb to challenge me, Brock? And I think it played out pretty well, and I think I love it. So we'll get to that in a little bit. And the next thing we have is Chris Jericho does in a promo. He talked about how the whole thing with MJF is still in his mind, losing to him, and he demanded one more match with him in All Out. If he doesn't beat him in the next match, then he will retire from wrestling. And of course, MJF, I had that distinct feeling that he will decline. But however, he still wants to prove a point that this is his game now. So he accepted it. So we'll see where they're gonna go. But he did tell him, think real hard, think real hard, and I think that's another psychological thing to do. You know. Now we get to the AEW World Tag Team Eliminator match. For the semifinals, we got the Lucha Brothers versus the Varsity Blondes. It was a really good match. You have Jurassic Express watching, and of course the Young Bucks. And I think it was a pretty good match to tell who was going to be. Now, I'm a fan of both the Blondes and the Lucha Brothers, but I could not decide who could walk away. Now, I think this is a good idea how the Lucha Brothers can fit in this story since they won the match. Reason I say is this: because if they decide to win it, Andrade will try to prove a point that Pac is responsible for their loss. That's always been the case. They're trying to target the Lucha Brothers, saying You're better off without him. He's the reason you guys cannot succeed in a tag team division. And so far, they're doing a pretty good job in Eliminator. And so, if I was thinking as Andrade, I would say I would pick on it. Now, if the Jurassic Express win it, to me, they would be the one team that can dethrone them because everybody loves the Jurassic Express. But that's how I see it. And as soon as the match was over, the Bucks even tried to stir things up between the two teams, but it backfired. But we can't wait for the finals on Rampage. I'm excited for that. Now, the next thing we have is Jamie Hayter's in-ring debut. She's been accompanied by both Rebel and Britt Baker, taking on Red Velvet. Red, she was on fire, no matter how short she is. She couldn't give up, but however, the numbers games always plays out, with Rebel and Britt Baker being on the outside and allowing for Jamie Hayter to pick up the victory. However, post-match, they decided to give her a beatdown, but she was rescued by none other than the resident alien herself, Chris Statlander. And I thought it was a pretty good ending on that one. Now, we continue to see more dissensions with the Dark Order. They're divided in half. You got Colt Cabana and Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, who believe they are trying to oblige to Hamas wishes. But however, guys like Silver, Reynolds, and Ten, they don't believe that's the right call. However, we don't know what's going to happen. Now, I would love to see Anna Jay come back and set things right. Try to tell them, wake up. And that sort of thing. But we'll see what happens. I know this is one of the most interesting factions that grow on, and I hate to see them leave, break up the group, but if they have to, we'll see what they're going to go with that. Now, once again, we get another promo from CM Punk making his debut appearance at Dynamite. I have to say it was a pretty good one, talking about how he wanted to work with the young guys, but he mostly pointed out about Darby Allin, how he is different than all of them. And that kind of plays out in a pretty awesome way, showing I know who you are, I know what you've been doing. And I think that plays out in the way that he will see what happens on and All Out. And I'm excited for that match. Now, the next match we have, speaking of Darby, he teams up once again with Moxley and Kingston to take on the Wingmen's Meneth, Drake, and Benoni. The match was so intense, and of course you have Peter Avalon on the outside. Who knows what that dork was gonna do? But of course, he was going to get involved one way or the other. And however, it was Darby who picked up the victory when he applied the coffin drop on JD Drake, and the celebration happened. But however, I don't know what is going on with the storyline. Daniel Garcia shows up and attacks him. Now, what do I think about that? I think maybe Daniel Garcia gets sick to his stomach that Darby Allin gets to face a guy like Punk, who's a legend, who I don't know, he feels like, why are you being more recognizable? Thinking that he's not even worthy to be there. I'm not sure. But if I was a betting man, they probably will put something like this either on Dark or Elevation, and we'll see when we get there. Now, Tay Conti, as you know, she is involved in the Casino Battle Royale for the women's side. No clue what number is. But however, they wanted to know from her what is her thoughts about the Dark Order, what's been going on since she has an association with them. However, she was interrupted by the Bunny, who was trying to get her to join the Fat Hardy family office. But of course, she declined and they get into a fight. And now it's been set for a match on Rampage between those two or Dark. I'm not sure. But it's already been set. And there's that. Now, if you guys been aware for a while now, FTR, they're dealing with a bit of a dilemma because of the match that took place between both them and Inner Circle member Santana Ortiz. This part of here was caught from Wilder, and you can see on a photo that they put on Twitter. It was disgusting. But apparently, there's a lot of nerve damage. He can't get the hand fixed, and there's a problem with it. And this could be the last ride we see these guys together. Now, I don't know about the extent how it is, but it looks like from what they're saying, this is a very serious situation. We don't. Do we think this could be the end of FTR? If it is, I would like to see them go out with a bang. That's how I would see it. Because if this is injury is making things worse, then we'll see where they're gonna go. Now, as you know, we got Kenny Omega facing Christian Cage. Don Callis, who won't shut up as always, but Christian revealed a video that was showed recently on YouTube where in this promotion called IWA, Christian was a guy that this promotion wanted from the very beginning. They believe he had a bright future, but however, it was Don Callis to ensure he never came in there. He decided to give Kenny Omega the shot that he deserves. So basically, he overshadowed him. And of course, they were trying to give him a beatdown, but luckily, Frank Kazarian showed up, and it turns out for Rampage, Christian and Frankie are teaming up to take on Kenny and the Stooge, Brandon Cutler. Now, as you know, Jon Moxley has been trying to get a match against Hiroshi Tanahashi. However, he's unable to make it for All Out due to the fact that it's around the same time that Hiroshi Tanahashi is going to put the IWGP US Heavyweight title on the line against his tag partner of the Golden Ace, Kota Ibushi, and that is one thing we have noticed. However, someone else decided to step in, and that is the Satoshi Kojima. This is going to be interesting for many fans to see this match. Now, the next match we have is the Gun Club. Colton and Billy and the return of Austin taking on QT Marshall's The Factory along with Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto. This match was pretty good. However, Paul White was down in the commentary, but QT Marshall dropped the ball. He got distracted getting in the head of Paul White or whatever he was doing, cost him the match, allowing for Colton to pick up the victory. And that's going to cost him dearly. Now, as you know, recently, Dan Lambert once again was dissing about what professional wrestling, and somehow the man of the year attacked Lance Archer, and he now declares that the men of the year are real professional wrestlers. So practically he made new friends. Now, do we think we could see Dan Lambert involved in this? I don't know, but if I do, he'll probably be going back and forth between AEW and MLW. Now we get to the main event, the Malachi versus Brock Anderson. Now, to be honest with you, I don't know if this is the right main event. But however, I do see like a story into this where we're seeing Malachi is being the most dominant force to be reckoned with that cannot be stopped. And however, Brock was no near match against him when he applied the Black Mass. He even tried it again on Arn, but Arn blocked it the first time. Second time, Black got away with it. And then Lee Johnson shows up to try to save his tag partner and his mentor, Arn Anderson. But do we think Malachi will challenge him? I don't know. But we'll just got to wait and see for the upcoming week. So I think that's it for Dynamite. I can't wait to see Rampage for all of you guys. Okay, so we're going to review Ice Ribbon for the new Ice Ribbon number 1123 in Nagoya, So they're calling it Nagoya Ribbon. This took place on the 30th of May, which we're not that far off from it. I'm getting closer finishing with Ice Ribbon. So practically there's one special match and a title match. So let's go from start to finish. First match is a singles competition. We got Ibuki Oshi taking on Miku Ayuno. It was a very solid match, very hard hitting. Um, Miku was trying to use every tactic that she can use, striking abilities on Ibuki, but Ibuki wouldn't flinch. But however, she had no other choice but to tap out once Miku had her in a submission and allowing her to win the match. So Miku, uh, Ayuno won the match. Next match is a 6-woman tag team match. We got Yuki Mashino, Hamuko Hoshi, and Tsukushi Aruka taking on Totoro Suzuki, Riza Serra, and Tekla. Now, in this particular match, you only see Suzuki, Risa, and Tekla more of the aggressive team in this match. Uh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it played out pretty well. But however, it was Riza Serra who pinned Yuki Mashino in this match, allowing herself to win it for her team. And that is something that we see very well from Riza. She is one of the best wrestlers I have watched over a year now, and she's a pretty amazing person. Now, next match, if you know this or not, Zuzu Suzuki entered which they call the Hardcore Determination 7-match series. So basically, she is in hardcore matches against the best wrestlers that we know from involving hardcore matches, death matches, and this time she had Abdullah Kobayashi. Now, Kobayashi is a big dude, like almost a sumo wrestler, but it was one hell of a match by Suzuki. She did a pretty good job, even bleeding out, cutting Abdullah's hair. I'm like, wow, she impressed me. Now, she may have lost almost every match, including this one. She has more guts than anybody I've ever met. The only person I've seen so far involved in this is Rina Yamashita, but that's another conversation for another time. Next match, we got an 8-woman tag team match. We got Akane Fujita, Hiragi Kurumi, Hiroyo Matsumoto, and Mochi Miyagi taking on the faction Rebel X Enemy, Maika Ozaki, Maya Yukihi, Ram Kaicho, and Rina Yamashita. Now, this is one of those matches where I've always witnessed Rebel X Enemy being the top faction in Ice Ribbon. Despite the fact that Ram and Rina are freelancers, it doesn't make no difference. And of course, it was Ram Kaicho who picked up the victory for their team to win it, and it showed how dominant Rebel X Enemy has become. And I'm very excited how they are turning out. Now we go to the main event, which is this is for the Ice Infinity title between Tai Hamna and Tsukasa Fujimoto. Now, in the last previous Ice Ribbon event, Hamna approached Fujimoto for a shot at the title. It was a great match. I have to say it was pretty good because it showed how Hamna is determined to be a champion. Despite the fact that she's part of Joint Army, I have to say she pulled off every trick, but however, she was nowhere near match Fujimoto when she put her in a submission, forcing her to tap out. And I think it showed she hung in there as much as possible. So I applaud her for that. But who will be the next challenger? Well, only time will tell, and we'll see the next time. Okay, the last thing I'm going to review is DDT Pro Wrestling's Max Bump 2020 tour in Nagano. This took place on the 25th of April. Um, it was a pretty good show. I like it, but there's some bizarre restarts that took place. I don't know, but we'll explain to that. First match, we got Hideki Okatani taking on Tomomitsu uh, Matsunaga. This match was okay. It was good. It showed uh, Okatani and Matsunaga really impressive. How can they be? They seem more of the young boy types. Um, they did a pretty good job, but however, it was Matsunaga that impressed me how he did. I can't wait to see what he can do more for DDT. Um, he picked up an amazing victory with amazing pinfall. 1, 2, 3. It was over. This next match is the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight title in a tag team setting. We have Eruption, Saki Akia, who is the champion, teaming with her Eruption brethren, Yukio Sakaguchi, taking on Toi Kojima and Chris Brooks. Now, this match was fun, entertaining. However, Chris Brooks was the one that put Saki Akia in the pinfall, in the submission, forcing her to tap out. However, he became the new DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Champion, but Saki got her title back by pinning him one last time in 26 seconds, and she regained her title. And that's the last thing you see from Chris Brooks from that. And that's what the title is. It's a 24/7 title. This next match, we got Yuya Koroku teaming with Katsuda Iguchi taking on Damnations. Yuji Ino and Tetsuya Naito. Now, Tetsuya Endo. It's a freaking great match. It showed how Damnation are becoming a much stronger faction as they always been, and it was Endo who picked up the victory when he pinned what's his name, Koruko, in the match. Excuse me. The next match, this is the bizarre one. We had Yukio Naya, Antonio Honda, and Shuko Dino taking on the Zazer Box, Kazuki Irada, Toru Owashi, and teaming up with Akito. It ended in no contest, and then they tried to restart it, and in no contest, and they decided to flip the wrestlers around. Akito teamed up with Irada and Naya, taking on Owashi, Dino, and Honda. This is one bizarre match, but it played out pretty well, pretty good. But however, it was Irada who picked up the victory for his team, and I think Honda did not take that too kindly, but he forgets Irada is a showstopper. He thinks he's the star of the show. That's how he plays it. The next match, we have 37 Kamina, Mao, Shuna Katsumata, and Yuki Ueno taking on Damnations. Matt Polly, Daisuke Sasaki, and Soma Takao. Awesome match. I love this trio's match. It was pretty well received, but however, it was Takao who pinned Yuki Ueno. Hopefully, possibly, he will be getting a shot of the DDT Universal title. I'm assuming so. That's what's going to take place. In the main event, we have Keigo Nakamura, Yuki Ino, and Arashima taking on Yusuke Okada and Juretsu Makoto Oshii and Junkai Akiyama. Good match. It showed a lot of discipline with Genretsu. It was Okada who picked up the victory for his team. Now, I'm not sure in the post-match if Jun Akiyama wants to recruit him. And I think it would be dope. I think it would be fun. So we'll see where they're going to go with that. And hopefully I can catch up with a lot of the DDT events. There's some I may not be able to see. But this will do for now. And right now, I'm going to do a little something for the news updates on a particular subject. Okay, so as you know, this is the news updates. This came in from Lucha Libre Online. Mystico has announced that he is now leaving CMML, or as we know it, Consejo Mundial Lucha Libre. Now, this was a total surprise to me, if you guys know this or not. Mystico here, he is Mystico number 2, and he is the brother of Dragon Lee and Rush. And here's a fun fact: he is the original Dragon Lee until his brother took over that role. Now, why is he leaving the promotion? I don't know. I don't know if he wants to be closer with his brothers and, of course, his dad, Bestia Del Ring, who all of them are with Ring of Honor. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. If you guys know this, not 2 years ago, CML fired both Rush and Dragon Lee because they have loyalty to the late Paco Alonso and, of course, his daughter, Sofia Alonso. And that always been one of the predicament. But however, the original Místico, who we later known in WWE for a while as Sin Caras, made his return back to his original Místico gimmick. Now, the reason this happened is when Místico signed a deal with WWE, he became Sin Caras, but the Místico name was given to uh, who is now the Místico of that time, who carried on the name. But when the original Mystico, returned, he ended up in AAA for a time called Mysticis, but it didn't last long. He ended up back with Consejo Mundial, but known as Caristico, and now he's officially back as the original Mystico that we know and love, the wrestler that made him famous. And I think this is going to be one heck of a comeback for him as the original Mystico. Well, I hope you guys enjoy this episode, me reviewing New Japan, AEW, Ice Ribbon, DDT. Coming up, we got more on New Japan's Summer Struggle. Of course, we got NXT UK, Impact Wrestling, but I'm also going to throw in a Stardom event. This is the continuation of the Cinderella tour in Makasaki. It's going to be very interesting to review, and there will be more stuff on the way. I think that's pretty much it. So, I think I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang!